Managing partner at Vetted Biz and Visa franchise. At Vetted Biz, we help you find, analyze, and buy a franchise or a business for sale. One of the most popular businesses that prospective clients and visitors of our site are interested in are gas stations. We are not a big fan of gas stations. In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 reasons not to buy a gas station. I think there's a lot of more attractive industries available for small business owners in the United States, especially when you look upon what the ways to make money are going to be in the future and the technology changes that are happening, in particular regarding the automotive sector. But first reason not to invest in a gas station is that it's a very slim profit margin. So most gas stations really operate on very tight margins, even if they're independently owned. And a significant part of their revenue is going back to the oil company, taxes, delivery company, transaction and processing fees. And right now, a lot of gas stations are owned and operated by the same individual. So going back a few years, it was 58% of gas stations in the United States were owned and operated by the same person. So what that tells us is there wasn't enough margin in the gas station to hire a day-to-day manager and potentially spend more time on other business activities, more time with your family, or open up more gas stations. So that's a huge red flag when we look at businesses, as we want to see that they can eventually scale, or that the owner can spend less time and not work full-time in the business if desired. I alluded to in the beginning of today's video on why you should not invest in a gas station or buy an existing gas station here in the United States, which is the technology changes. Big rise in electric vehicles. We've seen Tesla go up nearly 1,000%, and many other automotive companies that are leading the electric vehicle charge. There's a lot of money going into this space, and many cities and municipalities are already testing out electric cars, even driverless cars. So you have adoption of electric cars really leading the way in states like California, and slowly moving across the United States, where electric cars are becoming a lot more popular and will continue to be more popular over the next 5 to 10 years. The third one is heavy competition. So you have all these different types of brands. Some of them have corporate locations, but most are operating under a license or franchise type model. So there's a lot of competition, and you have to price your products competitively, whether it's the gas or the convenience store items that you're selling. So this includes Shell, ExxonMobil, Sam's Club, which is owned by Walmart, Hess, Sunoco, and Chevron, just to name a couple of these businesses. Number 4 reason why you should not invest or buy a gas station is long hours. Unlike most businesses, especially service businesses in the US that tend to be like 9 to 5, 9 to 6, gas stations are generally a 24/7 operation. Running a business around the clock means that if you have an employee that calls in sick, you are going to have to take it over as the owner, as most of these gas stations are just running with 1 or 2 employees max at a time. Number 5, complicated due diligence. When you're looking to buy a business in this space, gasoline, no surprise, is a dangerous substance. And the environmental hazards and potential customer lawsuits often mean that there's high insurance premiums. And that leads to the 6th point, which is their environmental site assessment. Part of the environmental due diligence process for buying a gas station involves this, and it's very expensive to get on the proper engineer to conduct this type of analysis. And generally, if you're the buyer, you're going to have to pay for that study before you move forward with buying a gas station. Fuel contracts, number 7, operating a gas station as an independent provider, can be potentially more agile, but most of the time, the gas stations are under a certain brand, where you're locked into one vendor, and the typical consumer that's pulling into a gas station wants to see that brand, something they're familiar with, before putting $50 or $100 of gas into their Range Rover or nice vehicle. And number 8, difficult selling process. So even if you find an established profitable gas station, when you come time to sell, it's going to be difficult to sell it. Independent operators might need permission from the local government before they can sell. Franchise, depending on the franchise contract, you might need approval. You're probably going to need approval from the franchisor before you sell. So there's all this type of red tape when you do want to eventually sell the gas station. 9 is location. Most of the top spots are taken, or they're going to be so expensive to buy an existing gas station in a highly desirable location. So generally, the real estate's very expensive. And then operating a gas station in a rural area does come with its own set of risks. And, looking at the pandemic right now, are people going to be driving as much in 2021, 2022 and beyond, and commuting as much, and perhaps going to these more suburban and rural locations from the downtown urban areas? Probably not in the same numbers. So gas stations that are in rural, suburban areas and far out areas from a city, but still commutable, are going to have issues. And then a big requirement that many franchisors have is that they have a minimum purchase. And then if you don't sell enough fuel in that time frame, the minimum can be due regardless if you sell that fuel or not. So this can be an extremely expensive cost, especially in a year that 2020 was with the pandemic and people just not driving as much, that you can be liable for. So again, I've given you 10 reasons why you should not buy a gas station. Visit our website, Vetted Biz. We have thousands of business opportunities, businesses for sale, franchises for sale, and more lucrative industries than in the gas station sector. This has been, again, Patrick Findara. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on LinkedIn, and leave any comments if you'd like us to get back to you, and potentially other topic videos that we can do in the future. Thanks again.